Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be a video response to, it's not really a contest, I think it's just kind of more of a thread, a celebration thread, if you will, to Andy Vinyl's Den. He just crossed over his 1 year anniversary here in the VC. Amazing how fast a year can go by. But yeah, so he kind of put a thread question out there just to kind of, you know, celebrate by asking us to show or share some of our favorite greatest hits albums, which I think he's right. It's one of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot in the VC. I think people, maybe show them here and there as they get them, but for the most part, we don't talk about greatest hits that much. And personally, I love greatest hits albums and compilations and so forth. So, yeah, man, congratulations on the year, and you know, here's to one more year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and just kind of having them stacking up. So let's just kind of jump right into it. A few people did do some video responses this morning, or last night this morning, so I tried not to duplicate some of the things that they already picked and some of the things I know a lot of people will pick, even though it kind of makes me feel like I may not be able to sleep comfortable tonight since I'm not showing them. So just to kind of mention them, Black Sabbath, Solar Soul, that's definitely one that if someone hadn't shown it already, I would have. What was another one? Oh, Nothing Has Changed by David Bowie. Someone already showed that one. Both of the Queen's greatest hits, which are fantastic greatest hits albums. Someone has already shown those. Hendrix greatest hits. That was another good one. So yeah, a lot of great ones have already been shown. So I tried to pick maybe a few that have not, and who knows if they will be shown or not. I'm sure some will, because it's greatest hits. So, but so yeah, I definitely went over the number two, but since it's not really a contest where I have to really stick to the rules, so I'm not cheating or anything. It's like, hey, here's just some of the good greatest hits that popped up to me as I was just kind of digging through the stacks a few minutes ago. So I did pull up a few CDs here. So let me show these three really quick. Simply Red's greatest hits, which I would so love if they would put this on vinyl. But that's a fantastic album right there. As well as John Cougar Mellencamp's greatest hits, Words and Music. I say if you're a John Cougar Mellencamp fan, but maybe don't have a lot of his CDs or records, but just kind of want to get a good chunk of his great stuff, this 2 CD set definitely does it. Beautiful set. And last but not least, as far as CDs go, Megadeth's greatest hits. This is Back to the Start, so another just kind of really good. Well, actually, let me do this. Am I holding it right? Yeah, maybe kind of give you a little bit of idea about the track list there in case you're curious about going out and buying that. Alright, so those are 3 CDs that came to mind. Way too many R&B CDs for me to pull greatest hits, because Evelyn Champagne King, Jeffrey Osborne, these are just the ones I remember seeing as I was kind of digging through there. Rick James greatest hits, there was a ton there, but tried to keep the number down, so let's kind of move on. I should have pulled that Evelyn Champagne King. That's a great greatest hits album, as well as Gap Band Gold, also another great hits album. But let's move into what I did pick. See how I'm sneaking in even more, even though I didn't pull them out. We'll start off here with Marvin Gaye. This is Collected. And just a ton of his hits from his early career on up into his late 80s stuff. So a really good 2 LP set. And I guess I realize now that the Collected is kind of a series that they're doing. I thought maybe it was just the title of this album, but I was at a record show this past weekend and I saw a Robert Palmer Collected, and the cover looked very similar with just a face shot of him. It was black and white. So I guess that's kind of a series that Music on Vinyl is going to be doing, which is awesome. There's a ton of artists they could do that with, and it's really, really good pressing. So let me kind of move along so I don't take too much time on each one of these. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers greatest hits. Great stuff. You know, just starting with his early years, back with stuff like American Girl and Refugee, Breakdown, all that great stuff, going into a lot of his stuff from the late 80s, early 90s, like Into the Great Wide Open and Learning to Fly, Mary Jane's Dance, and all that great stuff. So another very nice 2 LP set there. And the boys, Daryl Hall and John Oates' greatest hits. This is part 1 with the alternate cover. I should have pulled out the other one too, because I do have that one, but just in case you're ever looking for it, the other cover is, it's kind of like all yellow and blah blah. Anyway, but yes, this is part 1, and I mean, look at that track list. If you're an 80s fan, if you're a Daryl Hall and John Oates fan, how can you not have this album? Sarah Smile, She's Gone, Rich Girl, Kiss on My List, You Make My Dreams Come True, Private Eyes, I Can't Go for That Man Eater, One on One, Say It Isn't So, Adult Education. That's just a perfect listen right there. Simon and Garfunkel's greatest hits. Again, another one you guys are all familiar with. This one is really cool too, because this greatest hits came in the box set, which is nice that they gave you all those studio albums and they also put a greatest hits in there. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing to do. But you know, Mrs. Robinson, Sound of Silence, If I Could, I mean, all kinds of great stuff there. And the Funk Brothers right here, Ohio Players. This is Ohio Players Gold. And again, it's just kind of a, you know, greatest hits, all kinds of neat stuff on there. You know, just a lot of good old school funk. You know, Roller Coaster, I Want to Be Free, Skin Tight, Fire. I mean, just come on. Time to get funky, that has to be thrown on. Little old school R&B. I know my boy Billy Creon will appreciate this because he's a huge fan. New Edition, greatest hits. Album I was kind of surprised to find a few years ago because I'd never seen it on vinyl before. I'd had the CD forever, but yeah, I mean, just going back to stuff like Popcorn Love, Candy Girl, stuff I literally used to listen to back in 3rd, 4th grade, and then up into their kind of, you know, mid-'80s stuff, and If It Isn't Love, and all that kind of good, but just, you know, fantastic album. Mr. Soul, Sam Cooke, the man in his music. I mean, Sam is just the man, one of the best vocalists of all time, one of my top 3 vocalists of all time. And when you look at songs like A Change Is Gonna Come and Bring It On Home, I mean, to me, those are 2 of the best recordings in the history of music, which is, to me, is kind of saying a lot. But, I mean, it's just, Sam is just the man. And the man's brother from another mother would be Wilson Pickett. That's a must right there. I mean, this whole album is fantastic. And Wilson, again, is just, power of his voice is unbelievable. One of my boys that people tend to sleep on from the 80s, Billy Ocean's greatest hits. Another fantastic album. And my boys REO Speedwagon, this is the hits. And all their, you know, again, it's REO, everyone knows that. I listen to this album all the time and it's so great. You can see there's kind of some ring wear there, so it's one of the albums that I wanted to purge until I got a mint copy, but I was just like, I can't get rid of this until I get a perfect copy, so I'm going to hold on to this until I stumble across one. Because that's how good that album is. Aerosmith's greatest hits. This is another one I'm sure tons of people in the VC have in their collection. You know, Dream On, Sweet Emotions, Walk This Way, Back in the Saddle, Draw the Line, Come Together. And another one here which I spun a lot. I remember when I first got this greatest hits CD, played this all the time. It's my boy Eddie Money, greatest hits. Another fantastic album. Look at that track list. You know, Baby Hold On, 2 Tickets to Paradise, I Want to Go Back, Walk on Water, Shaken, Take Me Home Tonight. I mean, just all kinds of great stuff. I love Eddie Money. Peter Gabriel, Shaking the Trees. Another fantastic 2 LP set. Actually, I haven't opened this one yet. This has been sealed for quite some time. As you can see, they're on Classic Records, which, you know, for great pressing. But everything from Salisbury Hill to Sledgehammer, Shaking the Trees, Don't Give Up, another fantastic song, Big Time. A lot of great hits on that album. I usually see those CDs all over the place. It seems like there's just tons of those floating around out there. But Billy Joel's Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and 2. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with this album. Just, you know, actually, it's a pretty good album, really covering a good chunk of his career. The Cars' Greatest Hits. And basically this album is the theme song to the 80s as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, everything, just what I needed, Since You're Gone, You Might Think, Good Times Roll, Touch and Go, Drive, Tonight She Comes, My Best Friend's Girl, Let's Go, I'm Not the One, Magic. You just summed up the soundtrack for the 80s right there. I just showed this one or two videos ago with the very best of Enya, My Girl. Love me some Enya. Which I'm going to follow it up with my boys, Motley Crue, Greatest Hits. And this does a pretty good job of covering most of their career as well. All the Vince Neil stuff, that is. Nice 2 LP set. And the last two here, Foo Fighters Greatest Hits. You know, and this is a good one too for those of us maybe that Foo Fighters are a very strange band for me, because they are a band that I really, really like, and they're also a band that is really, really just kind of average. But I really, really like them, but they feel really average. It's this weird thing where, like, for some reason there's so much about them, or there's so many things about them that I just don't like. There's so many things about them that I do like, and it puts them in this weird place for me. So the Greatest Hits album is perfect, because I'm probably not one that would go out and buy a bunch of multiple Foo Fighter albums to get the different tracks that I like. It's just one of those strange bands. But, you know, songs like, you know, Best of You, Everlong, My Hero, Monkey Wrench, I mean, all that stuff is on this album, as you can see there in the track list. And that song, Everlong, that's a perfect example, too. That's one of those songs where I listen to it and I think, what's the big deal about that song? And it was such a huge hit for them. And it's like, what's the big deal about that song? It's actually kind of, you know, it's, I don't know, just blah. But at the same time, there's a genius, but it's kind of blah. You know, it's really, really weird. It's like this little battle that goes on in my musical mind about it. But I guess that's kind of what an artist should do, though, is kind of challenge you in those different ways. But anyway, Foo Fighters' Greatest Hits. And last but not least, Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. Can't leave Joan out of there. This is her greatest hits. Everything from, you know, Cherry Bomb starting off there to going into a bunch of great stuff throughout her solo career. Just my girl Joan. So those are the ones that kind of immediately came to mind. So again, Andy, congratulations on the 1 year, man. Look forward to getting to know you over this next year as well. And as always, VC, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.